Hello, my lovelies. I'm Ginny O, the author with no last name, and it is December. And today I want to do a video I referenced in my last November visual presentation video about word processors and language learning models. But first, we're gonna look at the bookshelves because I have changed the decorations and we're just gonna give a quick bookshelf tour. So this month's kind of theme for the bookshelves, now I'm not going to do this every month because I'm going to quickly run out of books, is just things that remind me of the feelings of this type of time of year. Uh, Hope and peace and love and, stuff like that. So over on this shelf, I have Lord of the Rings and the Chronicles of Narnia, which, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and Eternals, Winter Without Christmas. And on the very first up, which you can't see, is, taking up space, is the DVD copies of the BBC version of the Chronicles of Narnia, the TV show they did that were really accurate to the books. Wow. And this is what I watched as a kid over and over and over, and was always like, when are they gonna do the horse and his boy and the magician's nephew? Because even back then I didn't like the last battle. The last battle doesn't exist. What are you talking about? And then we have, like I said, The Hobbit, The Lord of the Rings, and The Princess Bride. Just for fun. And in my books, of course, my books haven't moved. And then on this shelf, we have all of Mercedes Lackey's kind of, or most of them, her fairy tale retellings. Now, these are the, happy endings. Sometimes they're like mixed up fairy tale type stuff. These are the books that were the inspiration for my fairy tale books. So that if you like Mercedes Lackey, 500 Kingdoms, or her Edwardian fairy tales, you might like the Dawn Warrior, the Dawn Princess, and the Dawn Queen. Just so you know. Over here, we have a very big snowflake. And my Star Wars books, the remnants of my Star Wars collection. I had a lot of Star Wars books, and then I just realized I couldn't be taking them all from place to place, and there was a lot of bathwater in with that. And there's like a couple series I know I need to rebuy, but so my Star Wars books are over here, and then down here are my Brian Jacques books, the Fighting Mice books, my dad calls them. But these are like they're very Tolkien-like. Like if you like a lot of, I don't know, if you like quests and good versus evil and lots of really sink your teeth into description type of thing, and Mossflower, and all the other books in the series. There's like 20 odd books in the series. And every single time I come across a hardcover copy, it's just like, oh, I want to cry. But these were introduced to me in 3rd grade, and I was the precocious child but went, are there more? And ended up loving all of them, actually. So, one of my favorite series there. And yes, the Star Wars DVDs are at the end. There's a Blu-ray set and the DVDs, but there is no 9th movie. I don't know what you're talking about. Nope, does not exist. Now, this here was a cookie jar that my second cousin gave me, and I had this really fun teal Christmas garland that I stuffed into it just because I like teal and aqua. It's a very soothing color to me. And we got some penguins here. Oh, they're so cute. And this little reindeer. And these, if you don't like sequins, don't buy these because the sequins just fall right off. There's not enough glue on them, I guess. And just, and like I said, this very big snowflake over here. Just trying to find some aqua decorations at like Dollar Tree and stuff like that to decorate with. Because it matches the rest of my living room, you can't see. But alright, let's get back to word processors and language learning models. Now, I use Word 2013. I used Word 2013 because it was still available when I bought my laptop in like 2014, 2015. And it was a one-time purchase, and you know, I own it for life. It was not a subscription model. Microsoft Office hadn't turned into a subscription model yet, which is the way I like my programs, without subscription models. And so when people start talking about the changes in word processors and what's going on, I'm kind of sitting here out of the loop because I use Microsoft Office from 10 years ago, and I don't plan on upgrading anytime soon. I mean, it's like I had Photoshop 6. Why would I upgrade to Photoshop Creative Suite when you're trying to turn it into a subscription model, and I have Photoshop 6, and the only thing you've changed are a few tools, and is it really worth it? You know, Photoshop 6 did what I needed it to do, and now I use GIMP. So, things like that. And I always like, oh, you're gonna do clouds and cloud saving, and who owns the copyright here? I don't want to be locked out of my own work. So I was on Tumblr, because that's where I hang out, and I don't really follow a lot of authors on Tumblr. Maybe I should follow a few more, or at least follow one. And I came across this post by the Bibliosphere, and her author name is Joy DeMora, but she goes by the Bibliosphere on Tumblr, and it was talking about how she had sent something to her editor and it came back butchered. And she uses a word processor, but she also uses Pro Writing Aid and Grammarly. And she had been using it, and she had been saying, ignore these suggestions, ignore the suggestions, I don't want you to apply these suggestions, they don't make any sense, they're wrong, type of thing. But she saved the document, and for some reason, either Grammarly or Pro Writing Aid had a fight or whatever, and they applied a bunch of suggestions. Anyway, and her editor was like, oh, honey, this sounds like you, but it doesn't sound like you. Would you please check to see if this is what you actually meant? And then later on, she posted up another one where she's writing her book. She's working on her second book, because she is also disabled and, you know, work as she can. And she says it keeps changing the word werewolf to werewolf. And she's like, I don't know why it thinks it's correct. But, she was thinking, and I went kind of looking, because I've been like trying to keep up with all this language learning model stuff, and apparently, in order to, I don't know, stay relevant or marketing or what's going on here, programs like Pro Writing Aid and Grammarly are using language learning models to supplement their spelling and grammar checking. Now, this is bad. Okay, so what a language learning model is it's a pattern regurgitator. Okay, we have to remember that it's looking through its data set and choosing the next word that is most likely after the word you gave it, okay, in the sentence, okay? That's all it is. It's not really a grammar checker. It's not really a spell checker. It's not programmed to say, have Webster's dictionary. Here's my Webster's that I bought back in college. So it doesn't have, you know, all the definitions of the dictionary, even though as a language learning model it probably should. Or it doesn't have Rochester's thesaurus. And if you're going, Ginny, that looks old. Yes, I checked the copyright on this for shits and giggles, and this pocket thesaurus is from 1923. So I must have stole it from my grandfather. Thanks, Grandpa. I'm assuming after he died. I was in the house and I needed things. I saw this on the shelf. I was like, oh. So this, so this was, the edition was published in 1923. The pocket edition was published in 1946. And the 108th printing was in May 1976. So this might be a 1976 version, so it might have once been my dad's or my uncle's, but this is older. So these language learning models don't really have a thesaurus or a dictionary programmed into them. They're just using patterns of what has been thrown into them, everything from the New York Times to copyrighted novels, which they should not have, to maybe even archive data websites like AO3 and fanfiction.net, because they can't tell you where their robots were scraping from, and they were scraping from everywhere. They're kind of like hint, hint, nudge, nudge, you know, well, we might have copyrighted stuff in there, but we can't say. So what it is doing, instead of, you know, using the dictionary definitions from Merriam-Webster, or, you know, using your Rogers thesaurus type stuff, it's just going after patterns. And when it comes to writing, especially writing out on the internet, if you're using AO3 or whatever, not in your data set isn't 100% copyrighted books curated from publishing houses, you're going to come upon that it's going to use the wrong words, and that a lot of times these are words that people get commonly mixed up. It's like peaked and peaked, or bear and bear, and there's whole like infographics about this. A lot of homophones, basically, and especially in the English language, where things are kind of crazy as it is. You know, we have been at a feast of languages and taken all the scraps, according to Shakespeare. And so you're going to, instead of your prose document actually being edited to the rules of Hemmingway Style or the Chicago Manual of Style, your document is going to be suggested things that people commonly do, even if it's not correct, okay? Now, as you know, as a prose writer, as a fiction prose writer, we know very well that many of these pro-writing aids, Grammarly's, and words were created for business documents and not for narrative prose. So we know a lot of times they're wrong when it comes to grammar, when it comes to narrative prose, but at least they keep the Chicago Manual's style for the most part, and we know that they're not completely out of left field. But if you're using a language learning model that has been training on everything under the sun, you don't know if what they're saying is true to grammar or not, unless you're pretty well acquainted with the rules of grammar. So and this is going to be especially hard on ESL authors, you know, or people who use who are ESL and use Grammarly or pro-writing aid in their day-to-day lives. So there's these AI, we can help you with your sentences, but it might butcher your sentences all to death. Now, the example that the Bibliosphere used, that Joy used, was she was writing a Batman fiction, and suddenly it became a Batman and Hobbit crossover because it turned the word smog, S-M-O-G, into smog, S-M-A-U-G, the dragon from the Hobbit. So, people are like, oh, they couldn't have scraped fanfiction.net or AO3, and it's just like, some of the stuff that we've been putting in here and getting out, they've definitely been at something where they've been getting a lot of fanfic. So that was the one she could use because the book that she's writing, she can't give examples out of that yet. You know, that's part of marketing later. You know, so what this means is, especially for writers, is that what you're going to have to do is either hire an editor that knows grammar yourself, or pick up one of these. This is the Bedford Handbook. This is my university level grammar book that has all the, you know, wonderful explanations about English grammar and the MLA style, the APA style, and I believe the Chicago Style in citations. And because my mother put this up off of ABE Books, she got me the teacher's edition. And my teacher didn't have the teacher's edition. She was like, oh, I'm so jealous. And I'm like, what are you jealous about? Mostly it's just, you know, okay, so there's exercises and some, like, quotes and stuff, but it's really not, you know, that different. The regular, there's answers to tutorials and lettered exercises in the back, but so you're just gonna have to trust that I don't use any of that. But no, so like you're gonna have to learn for yourself basic rules of punctuation and paragraphing to now double check your grammar checkers on everything from Word, if you're paying for a subscription, because Microsoft is, you know, in cahoots with ChatGPT, to Google Docs, who is working on their own AI, to Pro Writing Aid, which is using sentence, the part of their marketing is a sentence structure helper, artificial intelligence sentence structure helper programming. Like, what? And Grammarly is also having an AI help with your sentence things. I wouldn't have reported on this without, say, going and checking for myself, but I have been seeing rumors about, you know, Google Docs, them scraping Google documents themselves to create their own artificial intelligence, and Elon Musk is doing it with Twitter, and Microsoft is using ChatGPT. And but this is like back in October when she made this was the first time I really saw that actual proof of it. Like, oh, like somebody has actually come out and said that using Pro Writing Aid, even though they're paying $250 a year for it, it's screwing up their documents because it's using, you know, it's runs the AI through the comments from their beta reader, and the beta reader is like calling it a wolf, and so it's now a werewolf. Like, I don't know how they would take these ones, because the Dawn books, because I have like 3 different versions of werewolf because nobody can decide on what to call them. The werewolves, the werewolves, the you know, the wolfmen. Like, nobody has decided what to call these people yet, even though it's been like 500 years. Every culture has come up with their own version of it. And so they have, so I have like 3 or 4 different things, and I'm like, you know what, I don't care. Let them all call it different things. That's fine. That's actually humanity for you. But so you're gonna have to be careful. Or go to someplace that the modern equivalent of oldversion.com. I don't know if there is a modern equivalent of oldversion.com, and find programs that these programs without the artificial intelligence, and, you know, turn off all updates and stuff like that. Or maybe invest in Scrivener. I don't know if I don't believe Scrivener has turned to AI stuff. The thing is, these language learning models that these people are creating, with ChatGPTs from OpenAI, Google with their own AI, Microsoft using that, Zuckerberg, Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all that, Elon Musk, everyone who's creating these language learning models is eventually going to have to make money off of them. And one way they're going to make money off of them is by trying to say that they can help with writing. So there's already a ChatGPT version of an AI called Sudowrites, Sudowrites. And I don't like promoting it, but you got to be aware it's out there. And they're trying to promote this as something that will help narrative prose writers, you know. And it's just like, as a narrative prose writer, as an author, a book author, the last thing I think of doing is going and using a language learning model. And I would rather, you know, I'd rather talk to George. I'd rather talk to George here, George the Husky, or Becca, my editor. That usually gets me in trouble, and I end up having like 5 more scenes. Or go take a shower. Sometimes I take a walk. The last thing I think about doing is opening up ChatGPT or any other AI model to help me with my writing. But now they're bringing they're going to be licensing these AI models. There, now you know it's not a green screen. They're going to be licensing these AI models to these word processing programs to make a buck, and making these word processing programs worse. You know, the enshittification of everything. So you guys, so you as an author just need to be aware of this, that this is happening, and you're gonna have to learn to become better at grammar yourself, rather than relying on word processors if they have this artificially intelligent language learning model attached to them. People wonder why I will not. I absolutely refuse to upgrade to Windows 11. And I'm not upgrading to a program that I have to go into the startup in the registry to get rid of ads, and I'm not upgrading Word to something that's gonna make my writing worse. You know, I already have hard enough time sometimes working through the brain fog. I don't need help making my writing feel stilted and and a little weird, you know, funky. So I really just be aware, and if you have people who are, you know, using those programs, just tell them to be aware. LibreOffice, I believe, is the spiritual successor to OpenOffice. So I don't think LibreOffice has those type of AIs yet. So try LibreOffice maybe. Just there are alternatives out there. Now the real thing is, I do need to tell you, I do have on my website a post-fiction production guide called I Finished a Book, Now What? And in that guide, I did recommend Grammarly and Pro Writing Aid. And now I have to go out, and now I have to go and fix it and take that out. And it's just, it's distressing. Like, I only wrote those like 2 or 3 years ago. And as technology has advanced so fast that now they're out of date, basically. That, you know, you can't trust them, which is unfortunate, because Pro Writing Aid and Grammarly, even 3-4 years ago, had really great ratings with people and were really trusted programs. And it just goes to show how fast this stuff can really change. I don't know when I'm going to get to editing those, but they do need to be edited, sadly enough. So just keep your eyes open, so you know your smog doesn't turn into a dragon. Your fog does not turn into a dragon. If you don't want the fog turning into a dragon, that would be scary. And other such things. Take care of yourselves, my lovely. Stay safe, bless, and I will see you in the next